Listen, Ebro. We live in a world where everybody's watching everybody, scrolling, comparing, judging, pretending. You wake up in the morning, and before you even thank God for another day, your hand goes straight to your phone. You see someone's vacation, someone's new car, someone's perfect life. Abra, and now your day starts off feeling like you're behind. Distraction has replaced direction, and that's the silent reason so many people feel lost, tired, and unfulfilled today. Every second, something is fighting for your attention. Your phone lights up, your notifications buzz, your social media feeds never end. We live in an age where it's easier to get distracted than to stay focused, and that's exactly how most people lose sight of their goals. The truth is, it's not that people don't have dreams anymore. They do, but their dreams are buried under a mountain of noise, constant entertainment, endless opinions, and the illusion of connection that social media gives. Most people wake up every morning with a plan to do something meaningful. They might want to start a business, get fit, learn a new skill, or improve their life in some way. But before they even take their first step, they're already pulled in 100 different directions. A message here, a video there, a scroll through someone else's perfect life, and suddenly their focus is gone. The day passes and they end up wondering why nothing changes. The reason is simple. You can't build a strong future when your attention is constantly being stolen by distractions. Distraction is not just about wasting time. It's about losing your sense of direction. Every time you give your focus to something meaningless, you take it away from something that matters. The more you do that, the more confused and unsatisfied you become. You start comparing yourself to others, measuring your progress by someone else's highlight reel. You begin to question if you're good enough, fast enough, or successful enough. That's how distraction wins, not by making you lazy, but by making you forget what really matters. Direction, on the other hand, requires discipline. It demands that you say no to things that don't serve your purpose. It's about knowing where you're going and being willing to block out anything that doesn't help you get there. The problem is society doesn't reward discipline. It rewards distraction. The world celebrates the loud, the flashy, the viral, not the focused. People who quietly work toward their goals don't get attention until they succeed. Then everyone wants to know how they did it. But what most don't see is that their success came from mastering one simple skill, staying focused when everyone else was distracted. If you think about it, distraction is the modern form of delay. It keeps you busy but not productive. It makes you feel like you're doing something. Watching motivational videos, reading quotes, scrolling through ideas, but you're not actually moving. You're preparing forever and starting never. The result is a life full of unfinished goals, broken promises, and unrealized potential. To find direction again, you have to be intentional about what gets your attention. You have to ask yourself, is this helping me move closer to my dream or further away? Every time you open your phone, every time you choose what to watch, what to listen to, what to read, you're either feeding your focus or feeding your distraction. The choice is yours. The truth is, your future depends on your focus, your goals, your success, your peace. All of it is waiting on the other side of discipline. You don't need more time. You just need more attention on the right things. The moment you stop letting distractions run your life is the moment you start taking your power back. Because distraction might be everywhere, but direction is something you build from within. Once you know what you want and you commit to it with all your energy, no amount of noise can pull you away. The world will still try to grab your attention, but you'll be too focused on your purpose to care. That's when you stop drifting and start driving. Not following trends, not chasing approval, but walking confidently in your own lane toward the life you were meant to live. Success is silent, not shown. In today's world, that truth is easy to forget. Everyone wants to look successful before they actually are. People are more focused on showing progress than making progress. They post pictures of their hustle, their early mornings, their gym sessions, their work grind, but most of it is just for attention, not achievement. Real success doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need validation, applause, or likes. It's built in quiet rooms, late nights, early mornings, and moments when no one is watching. The loudest people are often the least consistent. They talk about what they're going to do, but rarely do it. Meanwhile, the ones who stay silent, focused, and disciplined are slowly building something strong. They don't brag about their plans. They just execute. That's because true winners understand that energy wasted on showing off could be used on leveling up. They know that results will speak louder than any post, caption, or story ever could. There's a kind of peace that comes with working in silence. You don't owe anyone updates. You don't have to prove your effort to the world. You simply get up, do the work, and trust that when the time is right, your success will make the noise for you. That's what real confidence looks like. Believing in your grind so much that you don't need to announce it. Society has trained people to chase attention more than mastery. But attention fades quickly. One day they love you, the next day they forget you. When you build your foundation on approval, your success depends on other people. But when you build it in silence, it becomes unshakable because it comes from within. The strongest trees grow in silence. No one hears them take root, but one day their presence is undeniable. Working quietly also protects your vision. The more you talk about your plans, the more open you are to opinions, doubts, and negativity. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some will smile at your dreams, but secretly hope you fail. When you keep your moves private, you protect your energy and focus. You avoid unnecessary distractions and opinions that can throw you off course. Silence isn't secrecy, it's strategy. The truth is, success takes time, patience, and consistent effort. All things that don't look exciting on camera. It's waking up early when no one notices. It's sacrificing comfort for growth. It's doing the boring, repetitive tasks that nobody claps for. And that's why most people quit, because real success doesn't give you instant recognition. It gives you small wins that add up over time. Those moments of quiet struggle are the ones that separate dreamers from doers. The day will come when your silence pays off. People will look at you and wonder how you did it. They'll call you lucky, not realizing that what they see now is the result of years of invisible work. That's the beauty of silent success. It doesn't need an explanation. It's self-evidence. So stop announcing every move. Stop trying to convince the world that you're on your way up. You don't need to prove your ambition to anyone. Focus on the process, not the perception. Let your results be your proof. When you finally reach your goals, you won't need to say a word. The world will see the outcome, and it will speak louder than any caption ever could. Remember this, noise is temporary, but impact is permanent. Those who make the loudest noise rarely make the longest mark. Stay humble, stay grounded. Work in silence, and let your success do the talking. Because when the time comes, your results will echo louder than anything you could have ever said. Society's timeline is a trap, one of the most dangerous illusions people fall into. From the moment you're born, the world starts to hand you a checklist. Go to school, graduate by this age, get a job by that age, get married before 30, buy a house, have kids, and retire after you've spent most of your life following everyone else's plan. And if you don't check those boxes on time, society makes you feel like you failed. But that's the trap, believing that your journey is supposed to look like someone else's. The truth is, life is not a race. It's not a competition, and there's no single finish line. Everyone's story unfolds differently. Some people find success early, others much later. Some people take the long way around because that's where they find their lessons, growth, and strength. The world tries to convince you that you're behind, but you're not behind. You're just moving at your own pace. That's how it's supposed to be. The problem with society's timeline is that it creates unnecessary pressure. It makes people rush into things they're not ready for. Jobs they don't love, relationships that don't fit, dreams that don't belong to them. All because they're scared of being judged for being late. But here's the thing. You can be on time for the wrong destination and still end up lost. Being early or late doesn't matter if you're not heading in the right direction. So many people live their whole lives trying to catch up to expectations that were never meant for them. They compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, not realizing that everyone has their own clock. Your timing is personal. What's meant for you won't miss you. But if you let the pressure of society push you into panic, you'll start chasing things that were never yours in the first place. Think about it. Some of the most successful and fulfilled people didn't follow the normal timeline. Some were broke in their 30s, still searching in their 40s, and finally found their purpose in their 50s. They didn't rush to please others. They waited until they were ready. That's the difference between people who follow their own path and those who live by the world's script. When you stop comparing your timeline to others, you free yourself from so much pain. You stop seeing life as a countdown and start seeing it as a process. You start to understand that growth takes time and good things can't be rushed. Every delay, every detour, every setback has a reason. Sometimes what feels like a pause is actually preparation. Life might slow you down because it's building something bigger inside you. The danger of society's timeline is that it replaces purpose with pressure. It makes you feel like you're running out of time when in reality, you're just getting started. The clock that truly matters isn't the one on your phone or the one society sets for you. It's the one inside your heart. It knows when it's your moment. It knows when it's your season. Trust it. You don't need to meet anyone else's deadlines. You don't need to impress anyone with how fast you move. The only thing that matters is that you're moving with intention, not for validation, but for fulfillment. Success isn't about how soon you get there. It's about how true you stay to yourself along the way. So stop rushing. Stop comparing. Stop letting the world's timeline make you doubt your journey. You're not late. You're in progress. You're growing, learning, and preparing for the right moment. The people who reach their goals the fastest aren't always the happiest. The ones who stay patient, consistent, and faithful are the ones who find real peace. Society's timeline will make you chase speed, but life's timing will teach you value. When you stop racing against others and start running your own race, that's when you finally win. Focus is your greatest power. It's the invisible force that separates people who dream from those who achieve. In a world full of distractions, focus has become a superpower. The ability to block out the noise, ignore what doesn't matter, and give your full attention to what truly does. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, opportunity, or intelligence. They fail because their focus is scattered in too many directions. They start one thing, stop halfway, chase another idea, and wonder why nothing ever works out. The truth is, success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing one thing with all your heart until it grows. When your focus is clear, your path becomes clear. You stop wasting time trying to impress others, and you start investing that time in improving yourself. You stop reacting to everything around you, and you start creating something within you. Focus brings direction, and direction brings power. The moment you decide what truly matters, everything else starts to lose its grip on you. Think about a magnifying glass. When you move it around, sunlight passes through it harmlessly. But when you hold it steady, when you focus it on one point, that same light becomes strong enough to start a fire. That's what happens when you focus your energy. Scattered attention is harmless, but focused attention is unstoppable. The problem is that most people never hold still long enough to see what they're capable of. They get distracted by other people's progress, opinions, and noise. They lose power because they lose focus. Distraction is the biggest thief of dreams. It comes disguised as entertainment, busyness, and comfort. It whispers, you can do it later, until later turns into never. But when you're focused, you see through that illusion. You understand that every moment you waste scrolling, comparing, or doubting is a moment stolen from your purpose. Focus teaches you to say no, not because you're arrogant, but because you're committed. You start protecting your time, your energy, and your peace because you know those are the tools that shape your destiny. There's a kind of strength that comes from being focused. You stop chasing too many things and start mastering one. You stop caring about being everywhere and start caring about being effective where you are. When you give your full attention to your goals, your skills sharpen, your confidence grows, and your results multiply. You begin to attract opportunities that match your commitment because focus sends a signal. It tells the world you're serious. Focus also builds patience. You start to understand that great things take time, and instead of getting frustrated, you get consistent. You realize that discipline is more powerful than motivation. You may not feel excited every day, but you stay focused anyway because you know that consistency beats intensity every time. You stop looking for quick wins and start playing the long game. That's when you start seeing real growth. People often think success requires huge changes, but it doesn't. It just requires focus. If you give one thing your full attention, one dream, one goal, one skill, and work on it every single day, it's impossible not to grow. Focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It transforms potential into power. So, guard your focus like treasure. Don't let gossip, trends, or negativity drain it. Don't let the world pull you in directions that don't align with your purpose. Every time you get distracted, you delay your progress. Every time you stay focused, you move closer to your dream. Your life will always move in the direction of your focus. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll create more opportunities. Whatever you feed your attention grows, so feed your purpose, not your distractions. Remember this, focus is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. When your mind, heart, and actions all point in one direction, you become unstoppable. Stay focused, stay consistent, and let your determination speak louder than the world's noise. Because once you master your focus, you've already mastered your future. Block the noise, hear your calling. That one truth can change your entire life if you truly understand it. The world today is louder than ever. Everyone has an opinion about who you should be, what you should do, and how you should live. From social media to family expectations to society standards, it feels like there's always a voice trying to tell you who you are. But when you let too many voices in, you lose the sound of your own. Your calling, that quiet whisper inside that tells you what you were born to do, gets buried under the noise of the world. The noise is subtle. It's not always negative. Sometimes it sounds like advice, trends, or opportunity. But too much of it can confuse you. You start chasing what looks good instead of what feels right. You start living for approval instead of purpose. You start doing things because they're popular, not because they're meaningful. And little by little, your true self begins to fade. That's how people lose their direction. Not because they don't have potential, but because they stop listening to the voice that guides them from within. Your calling doesn't shout, it whispers. It speaks through your passions, your gifts, and your intuition. But to hear it, you have to get quiet. You have to shut out the distractions, the comparisons, and the pressure to fit in. The world is full of noise, trends, opinions, expectations, and if you don't block it, you'll end up living someone else's dream instead of your own. When you block the noise, you begin to see life differently. You start realizing what truly matters to you, not what matters to everyone else. You stop seeking validation and start seeking alignment. You begin to trust yourself more because you finally give space to your own thoughts and emotions. That's when you find clarity, when you stop trying to be heard and start trying to listen. Silence is powerful. It's where wisdom lives. It's where direction comes from. When you quiet the world, you create room for ideas, inspiration, and guidance to flow in. That's why some of those successful and peaceful people take time to be alone. Not because they're avoiding the world, but because they're tuning into something deeper. They understand that purpose doesn't come from the outside, it rises from within. The problem is, most people fear silence. They fill every moment with noise, music, scrolling, talking, anything to avoid being alone with their own thoughts. But silence isn't emptiness, it's clarity. It's where you start to hear your calling clearly. And when you finally hear it, you can't unhear it. You'll know what you're meant to do, and you'll feel peace even if no one else understands your path. Blocking the noise doesn't mean ignoring everyone or isolating yourself from the world. It means learning how to filter what you let in. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Not every trend deserves your time. You have to become selective about what influences you. You can respect others' voices without letting them silence your own. When you hear your calling, it doesn't always make sense to others. People may question it, doubt it, or even laugh at it. But that's okay. It wasn't meant for them to understand. Your calling is personal. It's something between you and the one who gave it to you. It doesn't need validation. It needs action. Once you recognize what your heart is telling you, start moving toward it quietly and consistently. The more you listen to yourself, the stronger that inner voice becomes. And the stronger it becomes, the easier it is to ignore the noise. You'll stop needing the world's approval because you'll finally be living in alignment with your purpose. The noise will still be there, but it won't control you anymore. You'll be focused, calm, and confident, walking your path with faith, not fear. So block the noise. the doubt, the opinions, the distractions. Create moments of silence for your soul to breathe. Listen to that whisper that calls you towards something greater. That's your purpose speaking. Don't ignore it. Because when you learn to silence the world, that's when you finally start hearing your destiny. Purpose over popularity. That's a mindset that few people truly live by anymore. In a world where everyone is chasing likes, followers, and attention, staying true to your purpose feels harder than ever. People are more interested in being seen than in being significant. They want to be noticed before they want to be useful. But the truth is, popularity fades and purpose lasts. The applause you get today can disappear tomorrow, but the impact you make through your purpose will echo for a lifetime. Popularity feeds the ego. Purpose feeds the soul. When you chase popularity, you start living for the crowd. Every move you make becomes about what others will think. You start adjusting your words, your values, even your dreams to fit what's trending. But when you live for your purpose, you stop performing and start serving. You do things not because they make you famous, but because they make a difference. You stop needing to be seen and start wanting to be effective. The dangerous thing about popularity is that it looks like success, but it's hollow inside. You can have thousands of followers and still feel empty. You can have everyone's attention and still not have peace. That's because popularity is built on other people's opinions, and opinions change fast. The same crowd that praises you today can turn against you tomorrow. When your worth depends on their approval, you'll spend your whole life trying to keep everyone happy. And in the process, you'll forget who you are. Purpose, on the other hand, gives you stability. It grounds you when the noise gets loud. It reminds you why you started and who you're doing it for. Purpose gives your life meaning even when no one's watching. It keeps you working when no one's clapping. It pushes you forward when you feel like giving up. Purpose gives you a reason to wake up every morning with fire in your heart, even when the world doesn't notice. The greatest people in history weren't chasing fame. They were chasing purpose. They cared more about doing what was right than doing what was popular. They stood alone when everyone else followed the crowd. That's what real strength looks like. Being willing to stand for something, even if it means standing alone. Because sometimes purpose demands that you walk a lonely road, but that road, though narrow and quiet, leads to true fulfillment. When you choose purpose over popularity, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring success by numbers or applause. You start measuring it by impact, by how many lives you've touched, how much you've grown, how true you've stayed to your values. That kind of success isn't loud, it's deep. It's not about how many people know your name, but about how many people's lives are better because you showed up. The world will always try to pull you toward popularity. It will tempt you to compromise your purpose for attention. But every time you choose validation over values, you lose a piece of your authenticity. You can't please everyone and stay true to yourself at the same time. You have to decide what matters more, being liked or being real. Living with purpose means saying no to shortcuts. It means working in silence when nobody's watching. It means doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. But in the end, it's worth it. Because while popularity fades, purpose fulfills. One day, the applause will stop, the spotlight will move on, and the trends will change. But if you've lived with purpose, your work will still speak. So don't chase attention, chase meaning. Don't aim to impress, aim to impact. Stay true to your calling, even when it's not glamorous, even when it's not noticed. Your value doesn't come from being known. It comes from being needed, being real, being purposeful. Choose purpose every time, because when you live for purpose over popularity, you may not please everyone, but you'll finally be at peace with yourself.